here, Phil Lindsay here with Peep magazine. We're speaking to Ronnie Rowe as he signed 2 new charges to Fighting Chance. Ronnie, excited?
Very excited. It's another step in the right direction for the organisation. We've got a bit of a little enlarged thing on there. I think as you'll see from the fighters, we've got TK. I can't even say his name. John TK. He's a lad that came over a few years ago from Fiji, and he's in the British Army. And his coach in the army, Tony Davis, was somebody that I coached. So there's a big connection there. And he's been Combined Services champion twice. Been the quarterfinals of this ABAs at 91 plus kilo. We're just looking at him. We've been working together a few months now, and I'm very excited about him for the future.
Well, I think it's obviously you mentioned the little and large side of things. Now, within the region, we've had such a resurgence over the last few years in terms of boxers, and I've never seen as many new boxers turning over as what we're getting at the moment. But one of the things that we're short of still is heavyweight. So obviously with John TK coming in, an exciting heavyweight, that must be exciting for yourself to be involved with that. Yeah,
well, if we look at it, we've got sort of Travis and John, who are big lads themselves, and so they're working together. I think we're running a team now, a squad of boxers, and that always helps, so we can do the work together. Instead of having to travel so much. They do need the travelling for to get the sparring that, but technique work, we can work together, and so we've got the 3 there, and then with Andy Buchanan and Scotty, we've got a great mix, and Robert Dixon, great fighter. They've got big things coming off, and really looking forward to this show coming off. The other new lad we've got, Mark Wright. He trained with us as a junior and boxed with us, so we know him very well. Gary's doing a great job with the both of these lads, so we're very excited about them. Mark's boxed for England before. He's been in national finals, so he's got the quality and he's got the calibre there to do very well.
And obviously the fact that it's a little bit similar to with Mark White's situation, similar to Andy Buchanan, where he's gone away, then he's come back to yourself, so it's like a reunion.
Well, he's had a damaged hand, and he was training. He's sort of been out for a couple of years, but he's never really left us in terms. Towards the end of his time at Burley, Gary was still training him and stuff like that. So everything's great there. He had a damaged hand. He came back. The hand's now sorted. He's decided he wants to turn pro. He's an exciting prospect, and I'm looking forward. And I think he's going to put a few surprises out there. But this show,
both guys turning over on the 24th of July at Gateshead Stadium. Yeah,
we're going through the process at the moment. The stuff's been off to the board. There's a new process within how you sign them and that. So they're basically all the stuff's off the board. They've signed with me as a manager now. That's all done. We've got the interview with the North East board, and they've got 1 or 2 final medical things, but everything.
Dot the I's and cross the T's.
Basically, everything will be done right, and everything is done right. You've got to in professional boxing. But we we know that we've got to do things right. So, fingers crossed, and they'll both be on this 24th show. I mean, it's Steve Wraith's show. We've got 5 of our lads boxing on it, which is absolutely brilliant to put 5 local lads on. Andy Buchanan, exciting fight. Big things coming for him in the near future. Big things. Hopefully, and we're pushing him all the way. He deserves a title shot. That's what we're looking for him. Travis making a comeback after a devastating time, but it's like Travis says, fell off me bike, get back on and start pedaling again. Everything.
I mean, in terms of Travis's last fight, it was the occasion after having so long off, and obviously John Lewis had just been out there as well. He's emotional, and he went in too gung ho, and that's what can happen, especially with the big lads.
Well, it's one of them things, and we learn from it, and there's nobody more distraught than apart from him and myself and Gary and Lewis, and it was a really big night, and John had done so well. You couldn't get a bet on Travis, but that's boxing. That's boxing at the end of the day. And he picked himself up. The great thing about Travis is he's got a heart like a lion, and he pick himself up, dust himself down, and he'll be back. And he's first bout back on this show. Hopefully everything goes well for him. He's not gone in against some picked fighter as such. He's got another tough fight out there. But there's John, tough fight. What did he do on his comeback, on the big comeback? And this is the same with Travis. He does well on this. He goes out on Sky in October.
Yeah.
And boxing can change as it is.
Well, with Travis, it's not like it was his debut and that happened. He's proven himself over a number of fights over a period of time, so it's not like he hasn't proved himself before that fight, you know what I mean?
No, as I say, no excuses. Travis is
No.
not, and I'm certainly not a person. On the day, we got beat by a better man. Not Travis's day. On his day, that's a different matter. For whatever reason, things weren't right, but we're not here to make excuses. We'll get up there. We'll make
putting them right, isn't it?
We'll
That's
be
the thing.
putting that right. Travis will be putting that right, and the determination that lad's got. No, the will he has to win, and there's no way that he'll be going out on that one. I'll tell you.
Yeah. So July 24th. Who have you? What's the full lineup of your guys on the show?
Well, there's 5 of our guys on the show. The 2 Mark White,
John TK.
Just turned pro,
Yeah.
and John TK. Scotty will be having a return with the opponent that.
Simeon Cover.
The opponent that beat him, Simon Lucas.
Oh, Simon Lucas, yes.
Simon Lucas,
Yes.
yeah. So he's got the return with him. There's a 50-50 fight.
Yeah.
What more can people ask for? What more can the crowds ask for?
It's the perfect fight because I was commentating on that fight and watching it. Obviously, I've seen Lewis's earlier fights. He looked a little bit caught between two styles, which obviously as you're going through, you're having to nurture him and he's in the new gym and things like that. He looked like he was caught in between where this is it's another chance to put that right, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's just getting used to things. And, at the end of the day, you pick it up and do the job. I'm absolutely positive about that. And, so it's just, then he's got to prove himself. And that's what he's going to do and get that win back. We've got Andy Buchanan, Cratton fighter. We're not quite sure who his opponent is yet. No, we're sure if Travis has been on to Mick Marsden today, the matchmaker, to get it jogged along. But you see, and we've told him, we want decent fights. We want 50-50 fights. We're not there for that, and we get, in some areas, you shouldn't have put them in. At the end of the day, we're here to compete.
If you're going to get the guys where you want to get them, they have to eventually take these tests at some point. So you're better off taking the test. If you don't come through it the first time, you learn what you need to work on. You take it back to the gym.
I mean, don't get me wrong, we're not putting anybody in to get beat. What we're putting is to come in a 50-50 competition. And if they want to come in against the top fellas, we're not going to start shouting or anything until they've actually proved themselves at the right level. And, that's what makes competitive shows. That's what the North East public want. They're not going to be, the North East, it's not going to be sell short. It's no way whatsoever. And
the fans are too savvy for that.
Yeah, they're not going to come in to pick fights. It just won't happen.
You don't mind one or two of those on the card if the guys are at the earlier parts of the career and things like that, but you just don't want to have a whole card of that.
No, they've got to be. It's a learning curve, and and some of these guys, it's so-called journeymen or whatever. They're coming up, and if they see the opportunity against an inexperienced lad, they'll take that opportunity.
William Warburton is a prime example.
Yeah, they'll take that opportunity, and there's many out there like that. Lucas,
another one.
With Scott, he was coming on to 3 and 4 wins on the knock, and then and he wanted scalps, and then he sort of says, I'm not going to be a journeyman, and so you've got to. We respect anybody we're up against, and we're sure that they'll give 100%, but our lads are there to give 100%.
Now, obviously, John Lewis had such a, first time I've spoken to you afterwards, in terms of had such an amazing win in April at the arena. Is he going to be fighting again in October? Is that the plan?
The plan is for him and Travis both to be fighting in October, and hopefully we'll have announced maybe 1 or 2 more of our lads on that belt. We're working towards it. And so we'll see what happens with that. Certainly, John, we're looking for something on an international basis with him to move him along. He's done the British title, he's done the Lonsdale belt. He's proved himself against a very capable, up-and-coming fighter who was in the top, in that last fight.
Well, he was up against it. I mean, he wasn't the favourite in the fight. No. So, especially if you look how the previous 2 fights had gone. I thought the one against Courtney Fry started horrifically, but he showed so much heart to get through to the end and actually almost take it still. that, although it was a loss, there was some positives to take out, and obviously did so well against Simmons.
Yeah, I think, there's a lot of things happening in people's lives that we don't see.
Yeah.
The great thing about boxing nowadays, it's not like as if you lose a fight, it's not the end of the world. At one time, maybe it was at certain times, but that was when it was picked fighters all the time.
Fans are a lot more wise these days.
Yeah, and you're in a totally different scenario because these, they've seen them on Sky, they know his journeyman, and so you've got to take on reputable fighters. And with the Courtney Fry thing, he would looked at videos and looked at things, and it was a different Courtney Fry that turned up. He wanted his chance, and fair play to him. John is the type of fighter who will accept that. He's moved on, he picked it up, and he did it when he had to, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. And so he's up, and let's move on, and let's get something for him there, and let's get we've got an opportunity for him to look towards world title level. He's up there amongst it, European and world. So let's get amongst it.
Yeah,
and he's with the right promoters that can hopefully stick with. Hearn will stick with him, and there's big things happening in the northeast, and we've got to hope we can be part of that. Steve Wraith and Fighting Chance work together very well, and Steve was a big part of getting us involved with that. So we're thankful for that.
Yeah,
obviously,
absolutely.
and so. Working in conjunction with Steve on this one is absolutely brilliant. As I say, he's the promoter. But we've all got to work together at the end of the day for the sake of the sport and for the good of the lads in the area.
Makes the dream work, eh?
Yeah, that's the way I think.
And one last guy, just to what's happening with Craig Stroke, Robert Dixon in terms of he hasn't fought since November last year.
No, it's just been a bit of a frustrating time with him because we're not. We're wanting title fights for Craig. I've put him forward for the area title as well as I put Andy Buchanan for. There's nobody there for it. Obviously, Lee Mould holds the area title, but he's got an English title fight. So we're a bit in limbo with Craig. Fortunately, he couldn't compete on this tournament anyway because he's got family commitments. His wife's just had a child, but he's still in the gym all the time, and he's improving all the time. We were down Spawn with Glenn Foot last week, and so. He's in there and up for
much better sparring than that.
And so, there's a big things happening in that welterweight with Glenn Foot going for the title, British title, Lee Mould going for the English title. If they win, we're up there to take them on, And northeast fights. Whatever happens at the end of the day, we've put Craig forward that, and we're going to be pushing him forward for English titles as well as pushing Andy Buchanan forward for the English title as well. I think they're both within. They're both of quality enough fighters to be able to be in the mix with them.
Well, there was a suspicion that Lee Mould was going to be going down a weight, and therefore the rematch with Dixon wasn't really going to happen. But if he does actually win the English title, I think it's this Friday he's fighting, Friday or Saturday this week, against Adam Litton, I think it is. If he wins that, then the chance of the rematch could actually come sooner than expected.
Yeah, well, best of luck to Lee. He's a smashing kid, you know what I mean?
Kid.
He's a great kid. Best of luck to him on Friday. The whole of the northeast looking up to him, doing the business in the same with Glenn. You know what I mean? And hopefully we'll get in there, in the mix with it. It's that side, a lot of things in, but it seemed good in Newcastle v Sunderland bout or whatever. Would seem great for the future. If not, we're still pushing him there.
There's plenty about there.
There's plenty about there, and I think in stages in people's lives when they're concentrating on the wife's had a child and work and everything like that comes along. Maybe it has to take a little.
You've got to be 100% switched on if you're going in the ring. So if you've got side distractions, then get them sorted, and then you can concentrate 100%.
And that's what we've found with, we learned the lesson from maybe John. That was maybe one of the things there. Not making excuses in any way.
No. But you learn lessons.
Game. Hopefully we'll learn lessons and get better.
Ronnie Rowe, fantastic,
Thanks a lot,
my
Phil.
friend. I'll see you next time.
See you, mate.